808, okay, okay.
I don't give a fuck about your 30 grand. I get half holy too. You're not the only holy here. We all niggas. We all niggas, you fucking dummy. You dumb. We all niggas. You fucking dummy. We all niggas.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy 808 OK, and I'm kicking it with my cousin, my brother, my homie, RJ Dolo. And we kind of kicking off something. Like I told y'all, I'm relaunching my channel this year. COVID fucked everything up last year. But we just gonna get right into that video, man. BJ Penn, one of the Hawaiian greats, MMA greats. He's God out there to some people. But I kind of want to talk about growing up in Hawaii and the racism that Black people face out there. We like to think it's just in a bubble in the States, right? That we go through police brutality up here and it's just up here. First thing I did, I Googled Black racism in Hawaii, and the first thing that came up was come to Hawaii. It's a different experience. There's an aloha spirit. They said people can learn, the states can learn from Hawaii about racism. And it just got me thinking, man, like, yo, that's some bullshit. I don't know where it comes from, but just my personal experience growing up there, elementary racism. Soon as they get mad at you, and I mean shit, everybody else, because I wanna exclude it. And let me put this disclaimer on there. I love Hawaii. It's my fucking home. I go back every year. There's nothing against necessarily the people. I'm just giving you my experience on what happened there. Growing up there in elementary school, as soon as they get mad at you, first word they call you, fucking nigga. Like BJ Penn is saying it. That's the first thing that they say every time. So I want to give you my experience on growing up. He's gonna give you his, but let's tackle the BJ Penn video real quick. I think he was making a point. Now, first off, a lot of people say that natives and Native Hawaiians and Samoans, they don't use that word. Bullshit. They use that word all day, every day, and it usually comes out when they angry or drunk. Hence BJ Penn. Now, was there a point in what he was saying? Yeah, there was a fucking point. I mean, I'm not exactly sure the background of that situation, but I think the point he was making was there were some white people there, and I think they was acting uppity. I'm not sure. There might even been Hawaiians there acting uppity. His point was, we all niggas. How they view us, how the world views us, even the police view us, even the Hawaiian police, they group us all in. You got that brown skin, we all niggas. So you would think with that mindset, we would unite. You would think that how could there be racism way out here on the islands? Is it from the States? Is it people coming over from the States and dropping off racism and they just ran with it? There's so many I think like points you could make on why it's there. My point is, I never really got it. To this day, I still don't fully get it. The reason why my experience is different from RJ's is I grew up there and I stayed there. And once I got with that core of group of people, Hawaiians and Samoans that knew me, we just all trickled through grades together, migrated up to high school, and I knew the people that I had that was with me. But everybody outside of that bubble, still racism. Still niggas hating on you. Still niggas like fucking troll for no fucking reason other than what I can think of is just the color of my skin. I never used to fuck with people. I never used to call people out. You know what I mean? My swag was a little different. They'd be like, why you talk like you from the mainland? I had a switch. I got a pigeon switch. I can turn the pigeon on quick as fuck and turn that shit off. I'm talking like me. I don't know how else to talk. They used to hate on that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What about you?
Listen, man, I like you would like to first start out by saying Hawaii is my home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it will always be. It will always have a dear place in my heart. I intend to live out my old age back home in Hawaii. It's nothing against the people, nothing against the island, but the truth is the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? It has to be spoken. What I believe is if you're the type of Black person, I'll say, that is willing to give up your Blackness, you got a chance of fitting in for a little while, you know,
Mhm.
for a little while, you
Yeah.
know, you know, like you said, the difference between you and me is you stayed your
Mhm.
whole life.
Mhm.
Me, I bounce back and forth between Hawaii and the mainland all the time. I was in touch with my Blackness the entire time. So
Right.
because of that, I dealt with a lot more situations because I wasn't willing to become localized, as you would say. You know,
Mhm.
like yeah, I had you know a lot of local friends at times, but I always knew in the back of my mind, because of the fact that I wasn't, you know, full on wearing surf shorts and flip flops and shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? And because you know I was just a Black kid, a young Black kid growing into a Black man that just happened to live in Hawaii.
Mhm.
You know, just happened to be born in Hawaii. Um, I knew that there was a level of animosity. You know, there's a level of animosity, and the reason why it is in my mind is that, you know, they know, and when I say they, like you said, it would be everyone else there that isn't white. They know they can't do shit to the white man.
Mhm.
The white man
Mm.
rules everything. You know, white
Mhm.
man rules everything that the eye can see. They know they'll never
Yeah.
be able to do anything about the white man. So now it's like, well, let's target anybody else.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Let's target anybody else that's around that might be let's say it's like being on a deserted island in a way, right? You're out there, you're out there by yourself. They have entire families, their whole culture is there,
Mhm.
generations. They know you're there by yourself. So in case
Mhm.
some shit ever pops off, they're not concerned or worried at all that there's going to be any type of retaliation or anything like that.
What's the rule? Fight one Samoan, you fight the whole family, right?
Exactly. And the crazy thing about that shit is you're talking about Samoans, but that's not Samoa.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not even Samoa. That's Hawaii. So therefore, it's like, well, if you got that kind of smoke for Black people,
Mhm.
you hardly ever see that same smoke was Samoan versus Hawaiian or some shit. It's
Mhm.
it's the easy target because you know that nigga came over on the boat, not you know what I'm saying? Came
Mhm.
over in the military. He's by himself. Let's try him. You know
Mhm.
good and damn well that if they were, you know, if you took that group and put them in the mainland,
Mhm. Well, we seen it.
put them in DC, put them in DC, put them in Atlanta, put them, you know what I'm saying, Houston,
Yeah,
put
they
you know,
link
put
up.
them any other state.
Mhm.
That group of people acts completely different,
Mhm.
completely different. They only act that way when they see a nigga by himself.
Mhm.
No, it's a kind of like a tier system. Like, okay, we know the white man is on top. We'll never be able to do anything to him. So now there's like this competition to see who's going to be second to the white man.
Mhm.
You know, so there's this animosity towards niggas because it's like I always wonder because you know niggas never took no land. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Niggas never took no land, man. You know we don't control any of that shit. So the level of animosity comes from I think it's just our natural coolness, man. It's our natural swag. You know, it's like the shit is undeniable. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, you know, they done already took our land. Now these niggas is coming over here and they about to take all these bitches, you know, and that shit right there literally drives them insane, man. You know, I've seen niggas at the club get almost killed,
Mhm.
you know, for doing nothing other than just talking to a local girl, and
Mhm.
and
Shit, I've been in that situation many a times. That's how most of the fights start in the club. It's not necessarily talking to girls that they want. It's talking to local girls. and that the local girls is actually feeling you. I mean, I guess you got to put it in the realms of, let's take it all the way back. Niggas talking to white girls in the States back in the day. White men had problems with that. And like I said, once again, this is not a diss to Samoans or Hawaiians. Like, those are all pretty much my friends out there. I don't really know any just straight full-on black people out there. I got black and Samoan friends, like people who are mixed, but it's not a knock on them. It's just simply calling it how it was. Now, if you want to tell me Hawaii's changed, I can't really argue with you on that. I only visit once a year. I don't know. But I know, at least through the school system, through education wise, it exists every day. You can't tell me it's still not going on in the schools. And it's sad, man, because we all, as BJ Penn said, we all niggas. But see, if you take all of us and drop us off on the States, the police is going to look at a Samoan, a Hawaiian, a Mexican, anybody with brown skin. You will be a nigga. I promise you. Come up here and see. I promise you.
That's what's funny about this whole competition, to see who is second to the white man, because it's like, if you live there your entire life, I suppose that's that matters to you. But man, in the mainland, man, everybody gets treated like shit. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to white people, man. So it's hilarious to me. Like, I used to just sit and laugh at the shit, because it's like, you actually think that you're better than me. But as soon as you get on a flight and come over here, then that's when the dose of reality hits your ass, and you realize, yes, like BJ Penn said, we're all niggas. But like I said, I'm curious about that video, because let's just say there were some white people there. Would he have been saying that if you?
I think he said something in the beginning about Howleys. So I thought he was addressing some white people that was there.
Listen, man,
I could be wrong. He could have been calling his own people Howley, saying, that's why I said he might have been saying that they were acting uppity. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we all niggas. Like, what are you doing? But yeah,
man. But see, so to me, I don't even see why that would even come up. Why would he be so loose with his lips to even let that slip? Like, if there were no black people there. Like,
well, that location looked like. That location looked like wasn't no niggas out there. Exactly. That looked like on a big island on a ranch somewhere.
I'm used to know, because I haven't, it's been a little minute since I've been back in Hawaii. Has it caught on with Hawaiians or local people now, to where they're just all calling each other niggas and shit too? Because I know how it is over here in the States, where white kids just
everybody says
where,
it.
Now they're so now it's gotten to the point where
I don't think so. Like, when I go
locals
back
are calling each other niggas and shit now too.
When I go back and kick it with my circle, like, I don't know. It's hard. It's harder, man. Like, as you get older, I would like to think you get smarter and racism kind of dies down a little bit on the island. In the States, we know it gets stronger with these older white parents and grandparents. But since I've been back, it's like my circle's not. The black and Samoan friends that I have, they use it. That's fine. They're black. But I don't hear it loosely. But like I said, the number one factor, the number one way to judge that shit is campuses, school campuses, college campuses out there, middle school, elementary. That's how you know if it's being flown around, because they're obviously going to grow up and that's going to be the next generation. But that's the breeding ground. And I told my friend something when I went back last time. I said, we were talking about something, I don't remember, but I was like, you know what? Next time, I think his kid had got in trouble with somebody else and they called him a nigga. His daughter, something like that. I don't remember. I'm killing the story. But I was like, next time that happens, I want you to look at the parent a little bit differently, because I know he got that from somewhere, right? And that's supposed to be your boy. He's Samoan too. That's your boy. If his son's walking around using it in that way, not as a term of endearment, But when he gets mad and adding the ER nigger on that shit, I'm like, you need to look at the parent a different way. That might not necessarily be the homie that you think is the homie. Where he learning that from? I mean, I know we got social media and YouTube and shit, but there's no way he's letting that fly around the crib. And the other part that gets me is all the Samoans I know are hella religious, hella good people, good spirits and shit. It was just always, it's like when they get together though, especially back in the day in like Cellar, those clubs down in Waikiki, when they get together, it's just like, yo, them versus niggas. Every single night.
Listen, man,
them
I
versus
seen
niggas,
a nigga get power bombed. I seen a nigga get power bombed on the sidewalk outside the Cellar one night, man.
Jesus Christ. It's not sweet,
yeah, man. You have to. I mean, like I said, with this new millennial generation, man, who knows what's being taught to them now? I will say this though, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I will say that the shit was rampant back then. It was kind of like you were there and you were tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
You always had to keep one eye open. You always had to be, paying attention to the fact of paying attention to your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? You always had to keep that in mind because shit, it wasn't even like you had to do some shit wrong.
That was the bad part. That was the bad part. I never understood a bunch of the call outs and shit just for no reason. Why'd you fuck it? Like for no, I'm just chilling. I'm just fucking chilling. Just chilling.
I used to get in all kind of fights and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like niggas is known for being, and you know what? Fuck it. I'll just say it. Black people are pretty much physically the most dominant race on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it. So because you're black, it's automatically assumed that you must be able to fight or some shit.
Or have natural athleticism.
Exactly. So everyone wants to test that nigga.
To show it's just a nigga. Rerun the island.
Yeah. When I could give a shit less,
I never cared about running the island.
Yeah. Never cared about
we don't care
at all, man. Because
we don't care.
Because I'm smart enough to know. I'm smart enough to know that it's the white man's island.
Look at Waikiki. Look at Waikiki from. Go ahead.
What's the point of me trying to run some shit? That's like me trying to run Florida. Mm-hmm. Me trying to run New York City or some shit. Like this shit is not going to happen. So it doesn't even matter. I could care less about something so stupid. You realize, like when I was watching the news months back when they were protesting about, what was it? They putting a telescope or some shit up on one of the mountains?
Yeah, but it was sacred Hawaiian grounds.
I got you. And that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But if the white man wants it up there, it's going to go up there.
Yeah, eventually they're going to find a way. They're going to pass a law. They're going to do some legislation. Somebody's going to sell out. They're going to put some money in somebody's pocket.
If they want it up there, it's going to get up there sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less about running some shit that belongs to somebody else. Now they can convince themselves like, yo, this is still our shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Hey man, more power to you. But just so you know, man, if you don't know, if the white man wants your shit, it's gone. It's theirs already. You just don't even know it yet. So
Waikiki is the perfect example.
Yeah, man. I don't waste my time worrying about shit like that. And that's the thing that to me was the most ridiculous. If you're going to have a problem with somebody, have a problem with the motherfuckers that's taking your shit. You just go around knocking them motherfuckers out. But you dare not do some shit like that.
Knock out every howler you see, man. But I'm gonna tell you the slick shit. No, I'm gonna tell you the slick shit. Now, trust me, there's some niggas out there that then totally switched up, became local boy, but it's very more rapid with white boys. And they figured the shit out. They got smart. They're like, yo, fuck this. I'm coming to school with surf shorts, rubber slippers, switching pigeon on, gonna start surfing, dye my hair, fucking blonde, brown tips. I'm trying to fit in because they know I couldn't do that shit, man. That wouldn't have been me. I was gonna say I learned pigeon. I don't even think I learned pigeon. It's just being around it for so long, you just develop it. It's an accent. You can go in and out of the words. I get it. That was the furthest I went. I never felt an urge to switch my style up because that would never be me. That wouldn't even fly if I came to school one day, fucking surf shorts, talking about what's up, brother. Like I can't even imagine that shit.
I've seen it.
I know, that's what I said.
I've seen it.
They're out there and they flipped, but I sometimes think, yo, they didn't have a choice. The choice was, what is it? Join us? Wait, no, if you can't beat them, join them, right? That's what it is for some races out there, man. And I get it. And not just whites, Asians too, man. Koreans, we can go as long as Filipinos, all of them. At some point in their life, there's a choice. And it's either stick with your own or switch it up, become a local boy. And then that's just what it is. You kind of stay under the radar and you stay out of trouble that way. Now, we can go on this topic for hours, right? But from this topic, I think we should go ahead and close it out. We're going to have further discussions. What I want to do is I want to bring some people on from Hawaii eventually and have like a part 2 on that discussion.
Out now on every single platform. 96701. We can't tell no one about our love. We can't even tell the ones we trust. Cause if this love got out, it would destroy us. So we just don't say much.
But we can transition from that into racism in sports. Everybody knows Deshaun Watson wants out. They've traded that man's ace, right? They thought firing the coach was going to help. What they cease to understand, and I know why they don't, because they're billionaire owners. She's just holding on. Now, Bob McNair used to be the owner of the team. I think he died in 2018. The wife took over. She's holding on, man. She's holding on. I hate to say it like this. They're not budging. It's like back in the day, man. Why would I get rid of my best slave? Tell me why. What you gonna give me for him? Like, why would I get rid of him? It doesn't make any type of sense. And the new regime that then came in, the new GM, new head coach, is trying to butter Deshaun up, but they don't understand that Deshaun done figured out the system. When Bill O'Brien made all them trades and shit and traded Hopkins and fucked the team up, you got to get the okay from ownership. Has ownership changed? No. Deshaun wants the fuck out. Because he knows that same owner. You can switch the pieces on the board all day. You've been doing that throughout history. These motherfuckers is still running it. And guess what? When she dies, it's gonna go to the son. And when the son dies, it's gonna go to his son. And we just gonna keep fucking going. And it's gonna stay in the fucking family. And they trying to act like they don't get it. Deshaun figured this shit out. What's your take on it?
Well, personally, I think that it's a little too late, man. You know, when didn't he just sign a contract?
Yeah, I think he got an extension a year ago.
Well, see, you know, that's my issue, because I will say I'm a little bit torn, because I believe that a lot of these niggas, man, they don't realize that this league is not theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they sign these contracts. A contract is a contract. You know, I feel like just like how when you sign your contract and you expect to get that money on time,
mm-hmm.
then you should be able to do your part. You should be able to hold up your end of the bargain.
Which he has.
You know, so
he has.
Which you could say he has, but where in the bargain is it that you call the shots?
True. And that's the struggle that's going on in sports right now, trying to take control of something that you were never meant to control. These
but
owners will give you a little bit to make you feel like you're doing something, but you're really not.
but at the end of the day, listen, you're an employee in someone else's shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you come into it thinking that you're not the first nigga to be good at playing football, and you won't be the last.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you come in calling shots in someone else's shit? That's my whole thing. If black people use their brains and realize, hey, like I said, we're the most physically dominant group of people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who could debate that? Could you debate that?
No.
Could you say that there's someone that could physically match?
Not when it comes to
black people in
athletics.
sports?
No, not when it comes to
Okay,
athletics.
so there we go. So here's the thing. If they came together and started their own league,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's the only answer. You can't go to someone else's shit and want to run the show.
I would say here's
That's
why
it,
his
man.
situation is a little different. They expect him to work, but they have totally fucked up his work environment. They asked him for input on the head coach. He suggested Eric Bieniemy, I think his name is, offensive coordinator for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't even interview him. Now, you took me to dinner, you sat me down, and you said, we want you to feel more part of the franchise, Deshaun. What can we do to help? He gave you a suggestion. You acted like you were going to do it, and you didn't do it, right? Pile that on top of, like I said, trading top 3 wide receiver, top 2 wide receiver last season for pennies, for no apparent fucking good reason. And then you didn't stand your ground as an organization. Because if you're going to have your coach and GM do that, then you got to ride out with these motherfuckers for a couple more years. You just let him trade your ace and then you fire him the next year? That is dysfunction if I've ever seen it. You can't let that man trade away your franchise and then fire him the next year. Like, how does that make sense?
Listen, man, to me, it all boils down to money, right? So let's say I own a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
All I want to do is make money. I don't give a shit about winning games. As long as I can make money, that's all that matters. There are some franchises out there that's their mentality. They don't care about winning championships. They don't care about competing. All they care about is winning. All they care about is getting money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a team like that, all you can do is sign your contract, fulfill your contract, and then when it's time to go, go. But for the time that you sign the contract, honor your contract, man. Because like I said, if something happens to you and they owe you some money, you don't want to hear how you got hurt and sorry, man, that money that we said we're gonna give, we just don't feel like we should give you that now because you're not playing. It's in the contract that they have to uphold their end. So now, regardless of what they did, you know what I'm saying, you're not the GM. You're not the owner. You're not the GM. You're not the coach. It's your job to play, regardless of who's there. It's your job to play. At the end of the day, you can say you did your job and you got your money, you earned your money, and then be out. But this shit where the players feel like they have the right to control the team, to me, it makes it makes no sense whatsoever, man.
I think I'm with you in a grand scheme of things, but when it comes to NFL, I always side with the players because that money is not guaranteed. They can cut you as quick as they sign you. I'm just always going to ride with the players. But I get it. I get what you're saying.
Did Andrew Luck have some guaranteed money?
He did. And he got, when he retired, I believe the coach GM let him keep it. It was like $28 million. It was like a parting gift. I think he let him keep it.
Someone keep some shit that's already guaranteed.
No. He had guaranteed.
Right?
When you retire, though, you're voiding the contract. I don't think the team has to pay you. So anybody that retires in the middle of a contract, like that's it. The money just goes back to the franchise. But I think the Colts gave him that last year. It's like 28 million or something. But that's neither here nor there. We need to talk about what the fuck just happened on Sunday. And we need to fucking look, man. I think it's over. Tom fucking Brady is the greatest of all time in all sports. I know what you're gonna say. Listen, it was Michael. I feel you. I fucking feel you. It was, but I promise you. And it's weird because basketball players gonna say basketball is harder, and football players gonna say football is 100 times harder. And I side with football. You know how fucking hard it is to get 53 men. We talking about offense, defense, and special teams. He's been able to do that. He's got to the Super Bowl, 10 times, 11 times, and won 7, right? Yes, he's lost in the Super Bowl. But getting to a Super Bowl is not like getting to, okay, what?
All right, man. That's Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Yo, come on, man. 7. System
Listen,
quarterback
man,
is in the past.
The amount doesn't even matter, man. Bill Russell has 11 rings. So,
We're not doing that. We're not doing the Bill Russell
of rings
playing against little midgets.
Listen, I seen on Twitter, man, Robert Horry congratulated Tom Brady to the 7-chip class.
Robert contribute to every chip.
At the end of the day, man, the number doesn't matter. He has L's in championship games.
Stop it.
Michael, 6 for 6.
Stop it.
Which is a perfect record in championship games, and no game 7s. Listen,
you can't even get to a game 7 in the NFL.
Tom Brady lost to the Giants.
It was a helmet catch. What he did? Actually, if you look at that, Tom did his job. He took his team down the field and he scored.
What is wrong? What is it about perfection that you don't understand? Perfection is perfection, man.
I'll tell you what.
Perfection is perfection. And he lost. He didn't even lose to the best teams that he played against.
What are you talking about? They were the best team that year if they're in the fucking Super Bowl against him.
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you take all 10 of those championships, or all seven of his championships, he went 10 times, right, to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If you take all 10 of those Super Bowls, where would you rank the Giants?
The Giants were good, man. The Giants had a good stretch of those 3 years with Eli, man. Especially when they had the front four. They had O.C. Ormanor, Michael Strahan, JPP, and Justin Tuck. Like, come on, man. You remember that era. They were good. There wasn't no fucking chumps. But I don't like that point because that point is irrelevant. The other team was the best team in the other conference. He couldn't pick who he was going to play in the Super Bowl. It's like Jordan played the Western Conference champions. It didn't matter who they were. That was the fucking team that was dominant in the West that year. The reason why I said he's done it on a different team, we've all seen Michael Jordan in his 40s on another team, and what happened? We've seen Tom Brady in his 40s on another team, and what happened? To me, that's the strongest point. Fuck the rings. They both had identical situations. They had identical situations. What happened? Did the Wizards make the playoffs?
Are you comparing the Washington Wizards?
He played in his 40s.
This year's Bucks? No. Are you comparing the Washington Wizards to this year's Bucks?
No, I'm comparing their age and the scenarios that they were in.
Well,
Tom Brady is 43.
No, but hear what I'm saying. They ball. Jordan balled. If you look up Jordan's stats on the Wizards,
mm-hmm.
his stats were comparable to some of the top players in the NBA at the time.
So he couldn't get him to an 8th seed? You know how weak the East was.
They had Kwame Brown. And
I understand, but you couldn't get to the 8th seed in the East.
Listen, they had Kwame Brown.
Bro, 8th seed in the East. You can't get
as a Lakers fan, you know how trash Kwame Brown is.
I don't
Why
even
would you
remember him
expect?
putting on our jersey. All of those games are erased out of my fucking
Why
memory.
would you? Why would you even expect? Why would you even?
Those
Expect?
games are erased out of my fucking memory. The fuck out of here, man. This nigga's hands was this big. Are you 6'11" and got these little tiny ass hands, yo?
But you're comparing what Jordan had with the rest of the Washington Wizards to what Tom Brady amassed in Tampa. And shit, you know, I'm right there in Tampa. So, shit, I got, don't make me go get the don't make me go get the TB12 jersey. What I'm saying is I can recognize that what he compiled in Tampa was a formidable team. Everyone knew it. The fact that they had a little bit of stumbles in the beginning of the season
They
caught
didn't make the
everyone off
playoffs
guard
the year
because
before,
they
though.
were.
And they didn't make the playoffs the year before that. And they didn't make the playoffs the year before that.
Listen, man, you might
same players with those same. Listen, we're not arguing if they had a stack. Tampa got a squad, but they didn't make the playoffs the 3 years before that. I'm pretty sure, or 2 for sure. I don't know about the third year ago.
And sure enough, and I'm like, look at this shit. They've created this stacked ass team. You might say they didn't make it to the playoffs last year. Yeah, okay, but shit, was there a doubt in your mind they were gonna make it this year?
No, you know why? Because of Tom. It don't matter how old Tom is. Just like when Jordan joined the Wizards. It's not supposed to matter. You're supposed to be able to bare minimum get to an 8th seed. I felt cheated. I remember those years. Wasn't it 2 seasons? I wanted to see him in the playoffs so bad. We all did. NBA was trying to do everything they fucking could. That nigga could not will them to an 8th seed.
Listen, man.
Bare minimum.
Perfect record in the finals.
Facts.
I don't know. I mean, even LeBron, if LeBron won 4 more rings,
there's no reason to say nobody said his name in this conversation. I don't like discussing LeBron.
Hey man, I just don't want us to make this because he's on the squad now. You know what I'm saying? So I have to congratulate him, thank him for bringing a championship to Tampa, But at the end of the day, we talking GOAT talk, man. When you're talking GOAT talk, that's a whole nother level. Like, fuck it, you could be the best quarterback. You could be the best quarterback in the NFL. Shit, you could be the greatest player to ever play in the NFL. But when you're talking about GOAT of all sports, now that's a whole nother level of shit right there. You know what I'm saying?
But he's there. You're talking like he's not in the conversation. Don't angle it to where this is blasphemy.
Listen, being in the conversation is one thing, but actually being the GOAT is something else. And no one's beating Michael Jordan for that, man.
So if Tom Brady goes back to back, it's still no. That would make him 44.
Listen.
No. I want a short answer. Short, yes or no. If Tom Brady goes back to back, does he get it?
No.
Holy shit. Listen, you know what I don't want to hear no more of?
To me, there's nothing he can do.
You're crazy. You're absolutely out of your mind. You know what I don't want to hear no more about is the half a billy man, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is now disqualified ever from being the GOAT. Because even if he's able to muster 7 rings, which would be impossible, I think, at this point. But even if he is, we all saw the matchup. We all saw the head-to-head. And we all know what happened. That man was 43 and he bust your head. Now, yeah, he had a stacked defense, but you allegedly had a stacked offense. I don't want to hear anything about the tackles. You're worth $500 million. I bet you Kansas City is mad right now. That's the exact game. That's the exact reason why you got $500 million to show up and to beat him. And that wasn't done. So I don't want to hear nothing about Mahomes being a GOAT ever again, because you talk about there's nothing Brady can do to catch Jordan. There's nothing Mahomes can do at this point to catch Brady. Because like I said, even if he ties him, We seen the head-to-head matchup. We seen it.
Well, not just that, but the fact that you had a head-to-head matchup with him when you were like in your youth, and this man
Yeah.
is on the tail end of his career. Just I don't want to say barely holding on. He's playing okay, but man, if you see Tom Brady run for like 10 yards, man, that shit's funny as hell.
It's disgusting.
So 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 yeah, the fact that you got your head bust by a 43-year-old man, it's funny, but that, to me, that just goes to show the level of stacked team that he put together to do it. And that's the
Hey,
reason why I say that you
Kansas
can't
City
compare
is
GOAT status. You
Kansas
can't
City is
compare the
stacked as
GOAT
fuck.
status with Jordan. Hey, Kansas City is stacked too. But what I'm saying, when it comes to that GOAT argument, always remember Jordan didn't have no stacked team.
Man, don't forget they went out and got Tony Kukoc and the Worm. Okay, now these names now in modern day basketball, people might laugh at them, but at that time, well, nobody should laugh at the Worm. But at that time, you know what Dennis was going to do. All you had to do was give Dennis some coke and let him go to Vegas every now and then. You know what Dennis was going to do. And Pippen grew in. He grew in. But like I said, we have this discussion before. It was a natural stack. The Bucks was almost a natural stack. Most of those pieces were there. So Rojo, OJ the Juice, Cameron Brate, that offensive line they drafted, Mike Evans, Godwin, they were all there. They added, Antonio Brown, but is Antonio Brown? You know what I mean? Antonio Brown's still good, but are we talking about Pittsburgh Steelers Antonio Brown? And then low key, nobody wanted to talk about it because he's such a lovable character, but Gronk ain't Gronk either, man. Something didn't happen. And it's cool because his body has been through hell. But like his quickness is coming off, like that's not that New England Gronk. But a fucking 80%, 70% Gronk is still fucking top 5 tight ends in the league. But yes,
Also,
and then you add Brady.
What you're not factoring is
that defense all homegrown too.
They might not have played. They might not have played at their past peak level, but just the threat of them being out there on the field is enough to draw attention.
No, you're right. And that's what they did all year, because Gronk didn't light the NFL up this season at all. He had a very good postseason, but the regular season was like...
He didn't need to.
He was a decoy in a lot of situations.
Yeah, he didn't need to. All he needed to do was just draw attentions for Evans, draw attention for Antonio. Think about that. Think about that shit. You're talking about Antonio Brown isn't the same Antonio Brown, but
he's still deadly. I would take him.
Coming back,
that wasn't a diss.
Or if you were playing defense against him, would you DM up?
I'm still scared as fuck.
Exactly.
But we're not dealing with.
Needed to do.
I understand. I'm just saying we're not dealing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Antonio was. There was talk like, yo, this nigga was a fucking trendsetter. Like, he was number one receiver to me, my opinion. Everybody likes to put Julio up there. Julio can't even put 16 games together anymore. But Antonio Brown, once upon a time, was the best receiver in the fucking game. Now, if they had that motherfucker to go with Evans and Godwin, everything would have been a blowout. It would have been like when they gave him Randy Moss in New England that year. They would have went undefeated. Like, there's nothing you can do. I'm a double Evans.
If Brady stays there for another 1 or 2 seasons,
no, they're only going to lose one game next
Brown
year.
Does.
They're only going to lose one game next year because now they got a year under their belt.
Exactly. Once they really get that shit together, I think you'll see the old Antonio Brown again.
So let's end with this. Was it Belichick or was it Tom? That seems to be the debate going on.
I mean, shit. By the looks of it, man. By the looks of it, I would have to say, nah, you know what? I can't even do that. I can't do that. I reserve the right to just let you answer first.
That's bullshit. Yo, look, I'm torn because Belichick is a genius. This is why I say, even with Tom doing what he did on Sunday, it was still a mixture. And I'm going to tell you why. Bill Belichick had to still put those teams together, He had to convince. People talk about the Patriot Way. The Patriot Way was to take less money in the hopes of, not even hopes, you knew you were going to contend for a championship. You kind of knew you were going to be in the Super Bowl. But I can't pay you 5-year, $100 million contract with a $20 million signing bonus. We don't do that here. And if we do it, you are a transcending player and number one at your position. And we really need you. Like Stephon Gilmore, they paid Gilmore. There's something that they don't do. But Gilmore at the time, and it's still debatable now, is a number one cornerback in the game. The Patriot Way, the Belichick Way, the Brady Way was to convince other greats to come play with us because we're going to contend for a championship. I promise you. But you have to take less money. And when you take less money, we're going to use that other money to convince another great player to come play with you, then be coached by me and play with Tom Brady. We're all going to reach and achieve a goal together, but I cannot pay you what you would make in the open market. Do you agree? And mostly everybody said yes. And mostly everybody said yes.
I agree. The only thing, and to me, I feel like, yeah, I don't know if that was your answer, that it was Belichick, but that's what I believe. I think Tom Brady has the luxury, and Brady fans and people that would say that it's Brady, they have the luxury of saying that because he had a stacked team this year. If he didn't have a stacked team and he didn't win, then I mean, shit. It's not even a debate anymore.